Thank you. So again, y'all, today we are going to be talking about how to mark up your charts. I don't know if you've ever heard educators say this, or if you've heard your mentor say this, or if you just always wondered, like, okay, what does mark up the charts actually mean? How do I get to do that for myself? So when it comes to marking up the charts, you're pretty much tracking, I would say you're tracking your analysis, right? You're tracking your analysis as you go, so that you don't have to come back and revisit that thing. So not only is this going to help you with your entry points for HFX, but this can also help you with your entry points for Forex, and this can also help you with your entry points for pending orders. And there's just so many things that you can do once you already have all of the information that you need from your chart. So first and foremost, always start the same exact way. You always want to start by checking the news. And this is just something to note as well. If you guys have not seen the types of analysis video, right? That's an IM Center. There are 3 types of analysis that you can do before getting into a trade. I typically use all 3. Some people will just use 1. Some people will just use 2. But if you use all 3 analysis, you have a much, much better chance at clearing your trade. So if anybody knows what the 3 types of analysis are, just drop them in the chat. And let me know which type of analysis I'm actually about to show you guys first. What's the first type of analysis that we want to do? All right, so we got technical. Thank you, Bridget. Sentimental, technical. But what's the very, 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 very first one, guys? Because technical is when we actually get into the indicators. Sentimental is when we get into our feelings and using our intuition. Yes, Ashanti, it's fundamental, right? So the first fundamental analysis that we have to do is we have to check the news, right? And this is a step that you never, ever, ever want to skip. I was talking to somebody the other day, and they did not have a good trading session on their own. And then they realized that they did not check the news, which is the very first step, which is very crucial, right? Now, this is the website that I use. There are other sites that you can use if you really get into reading the news and figuring out what's going on. But for me, I like everything done by a color-coded system. And this one is pretty easy to read, right? So all I'm looking for is the time of day that I want to trade. So right now it's 10:27 a.m. If I scroll down to around 10 a.m., yep, it's fundamental, technical, and sentimental. So if I scroll down to 10 a.m., right, the first thing I see is very alarming. I see a red folder. You never want to see a red folder when you're going to trade, especially during NFP week, right? NFP week is the first week of every month, right? It's when every country recalculates their unemployment. They recalculate, they're doing something with their money as a country overall. So the market moves really fast and unpredictable. Anytime you see a red folder, you just want to avoid that pair, right? There's so many different currency pair combinations. You don't have to get wrapped up in trading a specific thing, even if that is your favorite, right? So red is a no-go, right? Especially during the first week of every month. Orange is okay, right? You just want to lower whatever you're trading, right? You want to do your calculations. If you typically risk 10% of your trades, you may want to lower it to 5, 3, or even 1%, because orange is just letting you know that, hey, the market is moving a little bit unpredictable. Not as crazy as it can get like a red folder, but something's happening here that you want to pay attention to. And again, you don't have to read this news, but you do want to be very mindful of the color of the folder, because you can get everything right? You can check your indicators, you can do your analysis, but you'll still get spiked out if you're not aware of the how fast the market can be moving. So red, no. Orange, low. Yellow, go, right? Red, no, right? And this is talking about your risk. Red, no. Orange, low. Yellow, go, right? Yep. If you guys want to know more about NFP week, you can Google what is NFP week. And that first little paragraph, it really sums it up really nicely as to what it is. It's like non-farmers payroll. It literally tells you exactly what it is. So that's step number 1. You want to do your fundamental analysis. I know this is a little basic, guys, but my basics are still very in-depth. And you may have heard something or learned something that you did not learn before. Right? So that's always going to be step 1. Now, step 2 is when we get into, right? This is still a little bit of fundamental analysis, right? Because we're still trying to see what's going on, which currency pair is strong, which currency pair is weak, and which trade should I actually be taking. Now, for people that are new, we just want to make sure that whichever currency pair, right, this combination of 6 letters, it just has to have a 70% right next to it. That 70% is telling us the payout and how much reward we would get based on the risk that we put into the trade. So for example, if I choose AUDJPY, right, this is just an example. If I choose AUDJPY, right, I can see that AUDJPY is paying out 70%. If I put $10 into this trade right now, I know for a fact that I have the possibility to make $7, right? So this is how the payouts work. And this is how the payouts work, guys. So let's just say the market is currently at 502, right? And I decide that I want to get in for a buy, right? As you can see, before I got into this trade, my account balance was at 1530, right? So when you get into the trade, right, it takes the money that you put into the trade out. And if this trade goes in my favor, not only am I going to get my $10 back, right? That's why you see $17 profit, but I'm also going to be making $7 on top of that, right? I know you guys are probably wondering, why did I get in for a buy if the market watch was at 99? But that's just a different story for a different day, y'all. But yeah, you want to know what your risk is. You want to know what your reward is going to be. And that is what the payout is going to tell you, right? Now on this screen, I know that the RUBs are typically the highest payouts, 90%, 92%. I see some of you guys post your screenshots and you guys are trading all types of things. You're trading stocks, right? Because these things typically pay out 92%, but stock analysis are different from Forex analysis. So even though the payout is higher, just be mindful of that, right? As of now, IM Academy does not have stock scanners. They have currency scanners, right? So until we get STX, right, or moving that direction, you guys want to be very careful, because if you notice, all of these currency pairs are actually OTC, right? And OTC stands for over the counter, right? Which means that these markets are even a lot less monitored than what they should be. They're pretty much not regulated, right? They're not regulated, which is why you'll see extreme point differences for my people who do trade OTC on the weekends, even though it is not recommended, right? So again, step 1, this is all fundamental analysis, y'all. Step 1, check your news. You want to see what's good over there. Step 2, choose your currency pair based on your payout, right? So which currency pairs, based on the news that we just checked, y'all, which currency pair are we not going to trade? Which currency pair are we avoiding by all means necessary? All right, thank you, Shanice. We're going to avoid the Canadian dollar, right? I didn't mention the CAD, but shout out to the people that understand, right? We're avoiding the USD because of the red folder. Why are we avoiding the Canadian dollar, Jessica? Why are we not trading the Canadian dollar today? Yep, because it is a holiday. Shout out to Raquel, who's actually in Canada, right? Bank holiday. And I'll just go back for a second, because if you guys ever do see a gray or silver folder, that lets you know it's a holiday, and you should probably avoid that pair as well, because the banks are closed. What is the red folder for all day? Well, it's NFP week, so everything is going to be a little sketchy, right? But you want to pay attention to the time that you're trading. It's NFP week. Everything is going to be sketchy, but you want to pay attention to the time that you're trading. So step 1, step 2, right? So now we're going to move on to step 3, which is we're going to go to livecharts.uk, right? And I'll just drop this link in the chat as well, right? But you really want to pay attention to the currency strength meter on this site, because the currency strength meter is literally giving you your first indication as to whether you're going to be buying or selling in the market, right? So remember, each currency pair has 2 different currencies in it. So we could be doing Euro USD, right? We could be doing GBP USD. We could be doing USD CAD, AUD USD, AUD JPY. Like any of these things can be combined. Well, not any of them, but a lot of these things can be combined to be a currency pair, right? Now, if in that pair, if the first currency, let's say we were looking at Euro AUD, right? We can visually see that the Euro has a lot more strength than the AUD has. And as the first currency in that pair, if the first currency has more bars, That's going to be the first indication that you want to get into the market for a buy, right? It's not necessarily saying, all right, I'm going to go to Euro AUD. Where's the Euro AUD? All right, I'm going to go to Euro AUD and I'm going to just straight up just get in for a buy, right? I'm going to just get in for a buy. I'm going to just do that, just like that, right? And we got 45 seconds, right? Let's see what happens. Because the currency strength meter is an indicator, right? But you never, ever, ever just want to use one source or one indicator to get into your trades, right? Because it's just telling you one piece of the puzzle, right? Now, imagine if you literally took a puzzle out of a box, right? And you saw the picture on the front of the box, but the box only came with one piece. You would not be able to put anything together, y'all. You would not be able to put anything together, right? So this one, it does look like we got lucky. That does happen in the market. Sometimes trades go in our favor. Sometimes they don't go in our favor. But you do just want to make sure your analysis is as crisp as possible. And look at that. Still, it was close. It's still close. Let's see what happens. Right? That's looking like a break even. Is that a break even or clear? So that was a break even, right? And the break even just means that the market opened and closed at the same exact point. So that was actually a really good example as to why we don't just want to use that. So if y'all following me so far, right, we're understanding the things to do before we get into a trade, right? Just drop a yes in the chat, right? We're understanding the steps that go into our fundamental analysis, right? Because we have to do all three when trading. We have to use all three when trading. Not all three websites, all three types of analysis. All right, awesome. Thank y'all so much for participating. And shout out to all 61 people that are still here locked on the call, because this is the type of value that you need, right? You can hop on live sessions and make money, but I have learned the most, right? I've gotten the most gems. I've received the most value. The smallest tips and tricks that have made me a better trader, I've actually learned those things on live sessions, right? And this is why I love Go Live. Sometimes it's not just about making the money, but you have to use the educators as a resource for the information that they have, right? You don't always have to hop on the live session to trade, but get on the live session for knowledge, right? You guys don't hop on this session anymore, right? I used to live trade every single day, Monday through Friday at 11 a.m., right? And if you guys really been with me for a long time, I used to live trade at 11 a.m. and 11 p.m. every single day, right? Monday through Thursday, right? But I don't even live trade anymore. All I do is educate, because it's more important for me to teach y'all the skill, right? Would y'all rather me literally just fry you some fish and send you on your way, or teach you how to fish so you can do it anytime, all day, every day? Like, it's the analogy. Do you give a man a fish and be like, all right, bet you good for the day? Or do you teach a man to fish so that, all right, bet you good for life, right? So we want to be good for life, family. We don't just want to be mad that we lost $20 on a session that we don't even know what we're doing, right? That's like pulling up to the drive-thru and be like, all right, yeah, put it in the bag. All right, cool. And then you leave the drive-thru and you check and you be like, chicken sandwich. I ain't even want to, but you also didn't say nothing when you got to the window. You just trusted somebody else with your life. So that's the analogy I'm gonna use for that. So fundamental, we're gonna wrap it up, right? And we're gonna move on to the next step. And if you guys notice, I'm just going through the HFX trading checklist, right? A little bit slower, right? A little bit more in depth so that somebody gets it, because every single day I'm expecting it to click for somebody else, right? Sorry. Step 4. Step 4, we're going to log into the Liberty scanner, right? Or whichever scanner that you use to take your trades. If you use the Hourglass scanner for Cashapp, that's fine as well, right? Everything I teach applies to all strategies, right? The only difference between the strategies is the indicators that they use. The only difference between all of the strategies are the indicators that they use. Because if I took the indicators off of this chart, right, and I pulled up my simple scalper next to this, and then I pulled up my pickpocket, everything will look exactly the same except for the indicators, right? Except for the indicators. So once you're on the Liberty scanner, you have 4 options that you can select from that will allow you to look at the market in a certain way. Now you can use any of these trades to clear HFX, to clear Forex, to honestly even clear Bitcoin if we get in jiggy, but that's another story for a different day, right? Now, which strategy do you guys want me to show you how to mark up your chart to them? Because you can apply this to any strategy, Everybody can actually choose their own strategy if y'all want to follow along, but Just let me know which one I should demonstrate on. All right. Webslinger. I'm going to go with Webslinger because that's the first one that I saw. So this is how the Webslinger looks, y'all. This is actually the strategy that your chart is defaulted to when you first log into the Liberty Scanner, right? When you first log in, this is the first strategy that pops up. And on this chart, you're going to see a few different things. But the first thing you want to make sure that you change is your currency pair, right? So we know we're going to avoid the CAD. We're going to avoid the USD, but everything else should be in the clear if it's over 70%. So let's just go. I don't like that really too much. Let's go Euro AUD. Right, so everybody can switch their charts to EA. Oh no, I don't want that up there. And this is the tip as well, y'all. If you click the star to the left of the currency pair, it'll put it in your favorites, right? So it'll never, ever, ever leave, right? So you can have that up there, but you might not want to have it up there because it does show your money as your in profit, out of profit. And I know some people really don't like that. So if you don't like that anxiety, let's just say, for example, I'm getting into Euro AD, and let's just say I get in for 2 sales, right? At the top, it's telling me what my profit is, right? So that's exciting. When I see 35, 40, I'm like, yes, I'm making money. But then when you see that thing turn red and go the other way, it's like, oh, nah, I don't want to see that, right? So I realized that a lot of people actually don't like to look at their money, like when they're making it or losing it, because it just gives them more anxiety when trading. So if you don't want to see your currency pairs up here, first of all, I'm pretty sure somebody got like 10 things up here. Please delete that. You're also giving yourself mad anxiety. Delete everything up here, y'all, because I know somebody got 10 tabs up there unnecessarily, right? All right. Are we about to clear? I feel like Jalen Goss in here, y'all. Call it random trade, y'all. But all right. So we are going to go back to the Liberty Scanner and we're going to start to mark up our charts. So we are doing Euro AUD. Nah, only 6. That's way too much. Because that means if one currency pair not working, you're going to bounce around to another currency pair. You're going to bounce around to another currency pair. Then you're going to blow your account in 15 minutes because you just got into 4 $20 trades and you only had $200 in your account and now you're mad. So trust me, if you listen, great. If you don't, you'll learn. So, all right, y'all. So this is the Webslinger again. You want to choose your currency pair by clicking on the screen, type in EUR AUD. And you want to select the time frame that you're going to be analyzing. Now, because we're going to be doing this for Forex trades and HFX trades, right? And because it's no rush to get into the market, we know what this process that I'm about to show you guys is going to take 5 to 10 minutes, right? It's going to take 5 to 10 minutes, so it's no rush. So the first thing you want to do, right, to start the markup of your chart is to select your time frame. Now, I'm going to start today, right? Instead of starting with M5, I'm actually going to start with M15, right? And the reason why I'm doing this is because typically I'll use M5 and I'll use M1, and I'll have about 4 lines or 4 entry points in my chart. But right now, I want to create more entry points for myself, right? I want to create more entry points. I want to create more areas of support and resistance. I want to create more zones so that no matter where my chart moves, right, I'm always going to have a support and I'm always going to have a resistance, right? Because remember, whenever the candles move between 2 lines, right, regardless of whatever the candles move between 2 lines, that top line becomes the resistance and that bottom line becomes the support. So again, 15 minutes, right? And the reason why we start on 15 minutes is also because this is going to help you with your Forex trades. This is really going to help you with your Forex trades. So we're really doing 2 for the price of 1. This is not a full Forex training. So please keep the questions about Forex to a minimum. But if you already use Forex, you will see how you can apply this information to your Forex trading as well. So basically, when you're using the Webslinger only has 21 indicators, right? It has 21 indicators, but we're only going to focus on the concept of 2, right? So the first set of indicators we have are these lines called web strings. And let me just zoom out a little bit, right? We have these things called web strings, but these web strings are really all just different moving averages. And the moving averages are just telling you different points in the market, right? The average place in the market where price was either really high and really low. So as we know, if we use trigger words when we're trading, anytime you see blue, 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 right? You know, all right, I should be, I'm, this is more likely to go for a buy. I mean, whenever you see red, 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 you know, that's when you want to get in for a sell. So with Webslinger, the reason why I like it is very simple and easy to use is because as long as, right, and this is really the basis of the strategy, right? If you see a blue candle, right? Remember the trigger words: blue, up, higher, above, over, blue, up, above, higher, over, right? We have a blue candle, right? Above, right? Or over, right? All of these lines, right? We also have the blue candle above these clouds, right? Now, the cloud is just this thing you see in the background. I'll just trace it. It can go from blue, right, telling you that the market is expected to go for an uptrend. It can go for red, telling you that the market is going to go for a downtrend, right? It'll go for blue, uptrend, and so on and so forth, right? That's what that cloud is for. Literally think about cloud trend, right? Cloud trend. And what you'll, and everybody put themselves on mute. And what you'll notice is that thank you. And what you'll notice is that the cloud is typically going to be formed before the market is formed, right? Now, this is not to confuse you, but you should always be mindful that the cloud, right, is always going to extend past where the candles are, predicting what the trend is going to be or continue to be, right? So we see a blue cloud right here. Even though we see a red candle, is this blue cloud telling us that the market is going to continue to climb or that there's about to be a reversal, y'all? What is the blue cloud telling us? That the market will continue to buy or that there's going to be a reversal? Yep. Yep. Thank you, Spicy. Thank you, Nisha. Yep, it's going to continue to buy. So that's something to be mindful of. When you're using your web slinger, if you see a blue candle above, like you should be able to look at that in 2 seconds. If you see a blue candle above everything, all right, cool. 1 point for the buyers, right? 1 point for the buyers, right? And with this strategy, you honestly only need 1 or 2 points, right? And then the opposite way would be if you're going for a sell, right? If you're going for a sell, you will want to see a red candle. Remember the trigger words: red, down, below, under, lower, right? You want to see a red candle forming under all of the web strings, right? And also under the cloud, preferably if the cloud is red, right? Preferably if the cloud is red. So I'm gonna just give you guys a quick example of how the forecast just works so you can visually see it from the past. And then we're gonna move on to finding entry points and marking up your charts using this strategy, right? So we see that back here, the market was selling, right? It was going down. But while the market was selling, this blue cloud was forming, right? And what this blue cloud from the past was predicting was this buying trend, right? Oops, wrong thing. It was predicting this buying trend, telling you that, yeah, the market may be dropping right now, but it's going to go low and then it's going to buy, right? And that's exactly what it did, right? And then let's look at this red cloud, right? We see this red cloud was here. The red cloud formed way before the market formed, but we can see that this red cloud was predicting this downtrend, right? If y'all can see that, just drop some ones in the chat. Okay, good. The cloud is the prediction. So now I'm gonna just keep my, if this may help y'all as well too, right? Now, if you want to adjust your screen a little bit so that you just can see a little bit more in the screen, like typically the market will be like this. So you'll have a little bit of white space over there, but we just gonna zoom out, or we're gonna zoom in, and then we just want to fill up the screen. So we just want to make the thing as fill it up as much as we can see. So we want to get the current candle close to this edge over here, right? So we can look at more, right? Because what we need to see is where we're going to be putting our support and resistance lines. Now, this one, the first one that we're going to put on the 15-minute, y'all, it's going to be pretty easy to spot out, right? Because we can see that the market stayed within this zone for quite some time, right? So we're going to put a horizontal line right there, right, on our 15-minute, and we're going to put a horizontal line right there, right? If you know why I did that, drop a yes in the chat. If you do not understand why I did that, drop a no in the chat. All right. So we got some yeses, we got some nos. So for the people that said no, right, whenever you're trading, no matter whether you're doing Forex or HFX, you really want to make sure that you are creating these zones, right? And zones are just areas where the market either had a hard time getting higher than, right, or a hard time getting lower than. So essentially, I'm literally just trapping my price, right? I'm just trapping my price. I want to know the highest, where did it have a hard time resisting, and where did it have a lower time, a place getting lower than, right? So I'm gonna just start from here to show you guys why I put the lines where I put the lines, right? So we can see price was low back here, right? It was low, price went up, right? It broke past this black line. It broke past the resistance a little bit. But then as soon as it got higher than this line, even slightly, the market decided that it was going to come back down. It was going to respect the zone, respect the two lines that it's in, right? So the market actually came down, right? It broke the resistance a little bit, but not too much. We would not have gotten spiked out. Maybe not, right? And then it comes back into the same zone, right? It doesn't get that high. It stays here, right? Then the market goes up. It doesn't get that high. It comes down, right? It doesn't get that high. It comes up, right? As soon as it reaches that black line, every time it comes back down, right? Then it goes up, right? Then it comes back down, right? If you guys can see that the market is respecting this zone. For the people that said no, right? For the people that said no, do you guys see how the market is staying within this same zone? How it's just been in there and it hasn't been a breakout? Hey, what's up, Nick? All right, awesome. Okay, cool. So that's the very first reason why we want to add the support and resistance lines right there, because we can visually see that that was a breakout zone. Like the market has not broken out of that zone, right? Now, these are 15-minute candles. So 4 of these candles will be an hour. So I'm just going to guesstimate and say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It's been a lot of hours that the market been doing the same thing. That's a long time for the market to stay within the same area. Do we think, right? So the next thing we're going to do, all right, we're going to leave that there. We're actually going to leave that there. And what I used to do, right? Because now you should be able to, you'll learn to spot this stuff with your naked eye, right? I'm gonna just take my text box, take my little text box, and I'm gonna change this to black so I know what aligns. And I'm gonna put 15-minute zone, right? I'm gonna just put that there, and I'm gonna put that right there, 15-minute zone, right? Because I need to know that's my 15-minute zone. So this is my first chart markup, y'all. I just marked up my chart. But because I'm doing HFX, I don't really, I only need to take a 15-minute trade right now. So I need to know what's going to happen in a lower time frame. But for my Forex people, you will be able to get into this trade, or you can even set a pending order for Euro AUD at around 1.58487, simply because, right, you can do that simply because, right, we still have the confirmations on the 15-minute. We still have those confirmations. We have a blue candle, amazing, right, above the web strings, above the cloud, with it predicting to continue to go up, y'all. So my Forex traders, read between the lines, and at 11 a.m., you should be able to get into Euro AUD for a buy, because it's telling us that in the next 15 minutes, the market most likely, it may continue to go up. It may be a reversal because we see some wicks here, but we're going to get into that next. And that's why we're going to continue to mark up our chart, right? So that's the first thing we do. We want to create some zones, and you can do this as much or as little as you want. I typically only zoom out to what I can see, because look what happens if I continue to zoom out. If I continue to zoom out, I can create another zone in case the market drops. But, and I like this. I zoomed out a lot. I zoomed out enough so we can get a better visual of what the market staying in the zone. We see the market actually was going higher, right? Stayed in the zone, broke out a little bit, stayed in the zone. And that's just what the market does, right? If y'all can see that pattern, if y'all can see this pattern, drop a 1 in the chat. Right? Because this pattern literally is what the market is doing. This pattern is how the educators, how the SBC educators, this is how we're looking at the market, right? If you can see that pattern, and I encourage you to draw this on a piece of paper over and over and over again, right? Because this is the market. And I really hope this clicked for somebody today. That's always my goal, for it to click for somebody today. Now that we can recognize this pattern in the market, right? Y'all just a lot of ones in the chat. Now that we can recognize this pattern in the market, the high points of this pattern are where you sell, family, right? The high points of this pattern are where you sell. The low points of this pattern are where you buy, right? The low points of this pattern are where you buy. This looks like a circus, low-key. And then these are your entry points, y'all, right? These are your entry points. Let's just say this was 100 and this was 0, right? We know that if the market, no, let's just say this is 2, right? Because the market can't get to 0 or lower, right? Let's just say that if the market gets to 2 or lower, right? Because we can see visually, this looks hilarious, y'all. I'm sorry. We can see that every time the market gets to 2, right? We can visually see this, y'all. No candles or nothing. Every time the market gets to 2 or lower, it turns around and buy. Look, the market got to 2, it turned around and went up. The market. Can everybody put themselves on mute? All right, thank you. So the market got to 2, and then it bought, right? It went up, right? Let's just say it went to 76. It went down to 2, right? The market came up to 80. It went down to 2, it went into 81. It went down to 2, right? If this is making sense, y'all, right? Because I'm really going to get into the smaller time frames as well, but it's the same thing, right? If this is making sense and you guys can start to see the reversals a little bit better, just drop oh, right, in the chat. When you get it, if it's making sense, right, drop oh in the chat. How are you determining where to place your horizontal lines, the body of the candle or the wick? It's always going to be on the wick. It's always going to be on the wick, y'all. Always on the wick. 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 I'm going to keep saying it, y'all, because I want, every time you think of this question, I want you to hear me saying it 500 times. Always on the wick. Always on the wick, right? So now we got our 15-minute trade analysis, and we were doing Forex. Of course, like I said, you guys can probably take that trade idea, potentially take that trade idea at 11 o'clock if you would like on Euro AUD. But now we're going to move down to the 5 minutes. And yes, Nick, always on the wick. Nick Wick, right? So we're going to zoom out, and we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to do this on the 5 minutes now, because look at this, y'all. If we look, we can literally see that the market is still respecting our zone on the 15-minute, but that entry point may be, it's a little high now, right? Because the market's all the way up here. It's all the way up here. So we just need to create a new zone for ourselves, right? Now, if you see that the market has broken way past, clearly the market has broken way past our previous resistance, right? So now our previous point where we would sell, as we can see, right? Our previous point where we would sell now becomes our floor. So how do we know where we sell it? How do we create this new zone and continue to market by charts? Well, you zoom out. Oh, this is like a high, but you want to zoom out. All right, there we go. So now, do you guys see over here? Now, the candles look very small, but do you guys see all the way over here, right? We have a really high resistance point. You guys can see that. Drop a 1 in the chat. Right? Now, this is really from the past, but this is the last place that the market actually got that high. And of course, we're just going to put another horizontal line there. And of course, again, change the color to green or something different just so you don't get confused. And you want to put that right there, right? You want to put that right there. And of course, you can go back to the past a little bit more to see if there's any other high points. But if not, we say, okay, well, the market clearly must be about to drop because that was the highest high. So pretty much we just trying to create another zone. We're just trying to create another zone. But you don't just want to do it for where the market currently is. You want to do it for anything you see, right? That's the key here, guys. So I'm going to just come over here a little bit, and I'm going to put my horizontal lines down here as well, because the market could always come down here as well, right? It could always drop down here as well, because these are 5-minute candles, right? These are 5-minute candles. All right. So, all right. Thank you, Lala. So I really hope this is clicking for y'all. So we just created another zone on the 5 minute, right? And I'm just going to draw it out so that everybody can see it as well, right? We see that the market was low, then it was high, right? It didn't get higher than this, and then it got low, and then it got high, then it got low, then it got high, 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 right? So this could have been an indication where we would have got spiked out because we would have expected, based on how long the market has been in this zone, we would have really expected the market just to hit this resistance line and sell, right? Because that's been the pattern. But this is the rare occasion where the market actually, it's either called like a fake out or a breakout, right? And this is where the market actually breaks past the old zone, right? This was the old zone. This was the old zone down here. And as you can see, it has not revisited this zone yet. This was the old zone until the market actually got high, broke past the zone, and created a new zone. Right? Exactly. Yes, Nick. And then the blue cloud, I know it's your favorite strategy too. And then the blue cloud, as you can see, predicted that the trend would go up. Right? So if this is all making sense, y'all, we can see the blue cloud down here. We can see the market was in its little do pattern, right? And then the market broke out of that zone and decided that I'm going to create a new zone up here. I'm going to do what I want, right? So just drop some okay, like O's in the chat if you really are starting to understand like how to look at the market. Because this is so critical, y'all. This is critical. All right, bet. So we also going to take our text and we're going to put our little text box right there. And this is the same thing. If you guys actually use the harmonic scanner, and you notice that they have entry points and things on the charts, the educators are just taking the time to mark up the charts so you don't have to do anything. So we're going to put 5 minutes. All right, we're going to put 5 minutes. And I'm going to click OK, just so I know that my lime green is going to correspond with my lime green. Yes, this training is going to be recorded. The trainings are recorded every single day and posted in the channel. There we go. And then we're going to do the same. You're welcome. Then they're going to do the same thing on the 1 minute. And we're just going to create those zones that we can see, right? We're going to do the same thing. I'm going to get another color. Most likely it's going to be hot pink, right? If I have to zoom out, I'm going to zoom out. If I have to zoom out, I'm going to zoom out. Alrighty, but it's looking like that 5 minute, and this is why I like 5 minute analysis, because that 5 minute zone is still pretty valid, right? That 5 minute zone is still pretty valid, but I'm gonna take my little pink line and I'm gonna put it right there, right? Well, the green line is still there, but I'm gonna put my pink line there because this is in the 1 minute, and then I'm gonna put one right there too, right? And essentially that's at the top and bottom of the current candle because we can see, right? We can visually, literally see that the market is trying to stay, we can visually see that the market is trying to stay within this new zone, right? We can see that, right? The market has broken out, and I'm just using a different color. The market has broken out of its previous zone. It was down here doing this little bebop, right, as Whitney would say, but then it broke past, right? And then it created a completely new zone up here. So most likely the market is going to stay up here for a while. If it breaks, you already have your entry point on the 15 minute. If it breaks, you already know where it's about to go, right? If the market actually decides to do something mad crazy and break, you already have an idea of where it's going to go, right? So this is still the M1. And again, you can do as many lines and markups as you need to, right? If you want to do more, like I personally would recommend for somebody who's just starting, and if you are trying to get into Forex trading as well, I would just say mark up your chart because you're not going to need to use all these entry points today. But yes, the more markups, the better. But I promise you that when you revisit this chart on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday next week, that your entry points are still going to be valid, right? They're still going to be valid. I'm pretty sure I can go back to a time 3 months ago where my chart markups are still valid. And I actually am going to do that. I mean, I'm not going to go 3 months in the past, but I'm going to show y'all how valid it is to mark up your chart, right? So I'm going to just create some more zones, right? With my pink line because now I'm on a 1 minute, right? And I'm literally just putting these lines at the top of where I can see some action, at the bottom of where I can see some action, right? I'm just tracking all of this. Look, and then even what you'll notice too is that your colors will correspond, which is that's even better. So if we look down here, we can see that this is a 15-minute line, right? This is a 15-minute buy line, but this is a 1 minute sell line. Does that make sense, y'all? Did that make sense? This is a 15-minute. This is a 15-minute buy line, right? But this is a 1-minute sell line, but it's still a zone, right? Until it breaks past, right, and moves into this zone, right? And then it comes back down, then it comes back up. So it's just a wider zone, right? It's a wider zone, right? That's why all of these markups are valid. And that's why the entry points are always valid, because you can have, and let me just draw one more thing. So you can have a small little thing where the market is staying like this, right? You can have a bigger zone, right, where the market is like this. And then you can have an even bigger zone, right, where the market is like going up there, because it's done that before, right? So if this is making sense, y'all, just drop some sevens in the chat. Okay, good. So now I'm literally, y'all already see where my lines are at. I'm literally gonna zoom out. I can't really zoom out too much more. But I am just gonna scroll, right? And I'm gonna scroll back. What's today's date? Today is July 1st. Wow, that's actually crazy. And I'm gonna just scroll back to the past. Just so y'all can see how valid our chart markups still are. How valid are these markups right now? This is from June. You can look at the bottom of the screen to see the date. It's from June 28th, 2021, right? And look at this market still within the same zone, right? Look at this market still within the same zone, right? And of course, you could have created smaller or little zones, but the simple fact that the market in the last couple of days, like the last couple of days, the market has revisited this same entry point. How many times, y'all? How many times? It broke one time, but then it came right back up. How many times? So it literally repeats itself. Like, it literally repeats itself, y'all. And that's what makes trading a little bit easier to understand. Like, once you understand support and resistance, right? Now, when it comes to finding your entry points, now we just did our markups for a very long time, right? So what you would do, let's just say Euro AUD is your favorite pair. You would just do your little markups, right? And you would click save. And I'm going to put Euro AUD July markups, right? Literally July markups, right? So when you log back in, right? If you log out, let's say I refresh this. So if I refresh my page, right, or when I first log into the Libby scanner, you're not gonna have to do your markups again. You can just click this little arrow. After you save it, you can click this arrow, click load chart layout. Oh, and then click Euro AUD July markups, and then look at that. Look at that. I promise y'all would not have to mark up a chart for a month. All you have to do is log in, figure out which zone your candles are in, right? Your top line is where you sell, your bottom line is where you buy. Family, look at this. This is craziness. So we literally have our, let me delete this. We literally have our entry points already, right? On the 1 minute, on the 5 minute. So this is super valid. This is so valid. I didn't even know. Like, we did this earlier, y'all, right? So basically, we got 6, 10 or lower for the buy, right? But we know we're looking for the buy because we got the blue candle above the blue web strings, above the blue clouds, right? 6, 10 or lower for a buy. And then obviously this is a little high, right? 739 or higher for a sell. Or if you want to go to the 5-minute analysis, 720 or lower for sell, right? Now, once the market moves out of this zone, which eventually it will, right? Eventually the market will move out of this zone. We already have markups for that as well, right? Or you can just go back to the past until you, because some people just are so extra, I've noticed, and they just gotta have 50 million lines on their chart. And that's completely unnecessary unless you really just love you love this, right? Now let's see if I load up an old chart markup, because I don't really save my HFX markups too much. So let's see if Euro USD Friday markup. I last saved this on April 9th, 2021, right? Let's see if it's going to load first and foremost. Oh, it says invalid. Let's see if Euro GBP. So yeah, this market is, because it was months ago, this market is probably in a completely different zone. But I'm pretty sure if I zoom out far enough or high enough, I'll be. Oh, look, y'all. I know y'all just saw that old entry point up there from freaking. All right, perfect. Y'all can see this markup is from Euro GBP. Markup is from. Well, I just opened it from February 1st, 2021, right? February 1st, 2021, right? You can see that the market stayed in this area. It revisited it so many times. I don't know if it did it in recent times. It looked like the market actually dropped. It looks like from where the market was at in February, it's been on a steady decline, but that's even better if y'all want to mark up your chart for days, right? Or months or weeks, right? You literally don't have to do much work. You can take, let's just say you wanted to mark up your chart for the rest of the month of July. You take 30 minutes to mark up your chart for July. Use one currency pair for the entire month. Practice one strategy with one currency pair, and I promise y'all will see results. Y'all will see results. This is what happens, and this is why a lot of people lose money, and a lot of people feel like they're not learning, and a lot of people feel like, oh, I'm going to quit this. No, just quit your bad habits, right? Because this is what you do. This is what you guys do, right? You'll log into the Simple Scalper. First of all, you won't check all your confirmations. You'll just get into the trade. You might get lucky. All right, bet you won that trade, right? Now you're like, all right, okay, cool. Let me just keep doing this. So now the next thing you'll do is you'll get into another trade with Simple Scalper and you'll lose. So you're like, oh nah, this don't work. Let me go to pickpocket because this thing wilding, right? Then you'll take 2 L's with pickpocket. So now you literally are what? You're 1-2. So now you like, okay, I'm 1-2. Let me keep trading with pickpocket. And then you lose again. So now you 1-3. So now you like, okay. Let me now I gotta go to Webslinger. Now you clear once with Webslinger. Now you even, it's like you're not really being consistent with one thing. So you don't even know what mistakes you're making. You don't even know, like, you don't even know why you took the L or why you clear. You just like, all right, that worked. I'm gonna do it again. Right. So now I really can only speak about this, y'all, because when I tell y'all I did everything that y'all do, like I literally blew a $250 account in 30 minutes because I was like, oh, $50, $50. And then it was like, your account had 62 cents. And I'm like, can I speak to your manager? Like, what's going on? Like, I've literally did like everything that y'all think that y'all do. I promise y'all I did that. I've over leveraged. I've revenge traded. I have bounced around strategies. I have not checked my confirmations. I have thought I was good at something because I was getting a little bit good at it. And then I stopped studying and then I got terrible. I have everything you think you could do. I've done, like, every single thing. So yeah, blew a 10K account. We're not even going to talk about turnover in the market. We're not going to talk about that right now. But I've lost a lot of money, right? Which is why I feel it's very important to teach people this skill. I tell people all the time, me and my mentor joined the business around the same time. So she wasn't able to give me what I needed with HFX. I didn't even know what I needed with HFX. But I knew that I saw other people getting results and I was determined. I was up. Obviously, y'all can see how this played out, right? Y'all can see how this played out. And this is a true story. I lost so much money, right? I lost so much money. It was annoying. So I became obsessed with figuring out, all right, if this person just paid their mortgage, this person just paid their tuition, this person just paid their light bill, if these people are getting results, it must be me, right? If everybody else is getting results, it must be me. So I just had to really slow down and dissect everything that was happening, every single thing that was happening. So I came in here, I learned one strategy, I studied Simple Scalper like it was the back of my hand, and I wasn't doing nothing else. Like, oh, do you use Webslinger and Pickpocket? No, I do not. I use Simple Scalper. That is it. Like, if you guys go back to my old Instagram videos, you're going to see nothing but Simple Scalper and nothing but 3-minute trades, right? That's crazy, right? 3-minute trades on Simple Scalper because I had to pick one thing and learn it. And then when it clicked for me, I was like, okay, I get it. I've taken this trades in my demo so many times. I understand these indicators, how they work as a collective and independent of each other. I get it. But to put my confidence to the test, I had to trade for other people, y'all. And it was scary. And I was like, if y'all blow your account like me, sorry, but that's the only way I was going to get better because I was doing really bad in private. and then I was doing really good in private. But the only way to really test if I was doing really good, if I really knew what I was talking about, is if I started to teach other people. Literally, you cannot just listen to yourself. That makes no sense. One source is not going to get you the answer that you want. And if you're only listening to yourself, it's not going to work. So I started doing the money mantra every single day, right? I said, you know what? This might be humiliating and y'all might lose money, but y'all click the link. Y'all just shout out to the people that been here from the beginning that really, we was practicing, y'all. We was clearing a lot, but we were practicing. I said, do not call me the GOAT. Do not call me an educator. Do not call me these things because y'all are just practicing with me. And y'all just happen to trust me for whatever reason. When I tell y'all, I did not know why y'all was trusting me. I could not tell you, but y'all did. And guess what? It worked, y'all. And look where we at now, right? 30 days of consistency for the month of November, every day for 30 days. I said, I'm going live. Whoever hops on, I'm going to try my best to explain this to them. I'm going to try my best. I'm going to cross my fingers. I hope we make some money. Like, y'all don't understand. It was not, I don't know how it looked to y'all because y'all was clearing, but I was having heart attacks because I was learning and earning, and we just happened to be winning. So yes. And I say all this to say, practice makes profit, y'all. Practice makes profits. If I didn't spend out, like, yo, what I just told y'all could take 10 minutes to do, it used to take me hours too, because I didn't know what, like, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna put this line here, but what does that mean? Do I sell? Do I buy? What do I do? Like, I had to really study. I had to force myself to watch those dry ass I Am Academy videos, if I'm being honest, right? It was so dry. I'm like, ooh, this is gonna kill me. But if I want to learn, like, y'all don't really understand the process. Like, y'all not in the field for real. Like, everything is so easy for y'all. Even the way the products look, it did not look like this. It was not color coded, but y'all have it so easy. Y'all are spoiled. Your mentors do a lot for you. SBC does a lot. I Am Academy does a lot, and you don't want to learn. And that is going to be your downfall, right? Because if shit hits the fan and everything goes out the window, do you have the skill or do you just have go lives? Do you have the skill or do you just have go live? Like, learn the skill, family. And I'm going to leave y'all with that. I'm really going to leave y'all with that because I'm going to just leave y'all with that, right? So I hope everybody has an amazing day, right? I hope these words stick with you. I pray to God that y'all listen to what I'm saying, okay? But everybody have a great day. And I will post this training in the Money Mantra channel as soon as it gets to my email. And everybody have a great day.